Do you want a tech job that pays $375,000 a year and doesn't need tech experience? I know it sounds too good to be true, right? But if you check Google Trends, you can see the demand is shooting up. And I'm here to teach you with this free course on how to take advantage of this golden opportunity.
Hi, this is Brian, and here's what we will cover in this prompt engineering course. So step 1 is all about the fundamentals, and then step 2 is the step-by-step instructions on how we can create them. Step 3 is all about the tone and voice. Step 4 is using ChatGPT as your own programmer. Step 5 is about data generation, and then step 6 is asking ChatGPT to create a study plan for us. And then I also have a bonus step at the end of this video that will blow your mind, so make sure to stick to the end. What is prompt engineering? So first things first, let's define what a prompt is. So prompt is just a fancy name for the instruction that we give to the AI. So for example, I have here right now the ChatGPT window, and what I'll do is let's just send our first prompt, am I cool? Okay, so this is just the conversation that you're having with the AI. So that's the prompt that we have. So it's saying that, okay, I don't have personal opinions and the concept of cool is objective, etc. So ChatGPT will reply back to your prompt. So one of the core concepts that you need to remember is when it comes to prompts in ChatGPT, garbage in, garbage out, meaning that it depends on the quality of your prompt. Okay, if it's really good, then ChatGPT will give a really good response as well to the output, right? But if your prompt is not really good or it's low quality, then you expect the quality of the output to be the same as well. Now, the tool is only as good as the user is behind it. So that means it's really up to you to develop that skill to get really good at giving instructions to ChatGPT or any AI tool so that you also get quality output. So that's what we are looking at a prompt engineer, on what you really need to accomplish. Okay, so if we were to summarize it in one sentence, that would be pretty much giving the best commands to AI. And this is where I want to teach you on how to be able to do that. So step 1 is all about the fundamentals. So when we talk about starting out with ChatGPT, if you have a ChatGPT beginner, right, what they usually do is what you see is what you get. What they need, right? They just type in a simple question and then we get the answer from ChatGPT. So let's just have a scenario wherein we need to have 3 blog article titles about passive income. Let's say we have a blog, right? And then we want to write articles for that one. So if I were a beginner, what I would send is simply this question or this prompt. Write 3 blog article titles on passive income. And we have the response right away from ChatGPT, right? Pretty straightforward. But we can do so much better with prompt engineering. So what I'll do is let me just copy paste this prompt over here and I'll dissect it for you on what are the 3 main components when it comes to the fundamentals. So over here, what we need, right, is the role, the details, and questions. Okay, so when we talk about the role over here, right, we have this first statement. You are an expert in writing viral blog article titles about passive income. So what we're defining over here is we want ChatGPT to know that, okay, you are an expert when it comes to blog article titles, right? So we're defining this as clear as day for ChatGPT to like have that role in or have that mindset, okay? And then here's what I need. Next is we have the details. So what's really important over here, right, is you need to be clear on what you need. Because over here, in the first example, the bad example, we just like passive income, right? But is there any niche? Is there anything specific for the title? Does it need to be long? Does it need to be short, right? There's no details over here. So what we need is the details over here. So what I have over here, think of catchy and attention-grabbing titles, okay? And then I want it to be short, concise, surprising, and creative, right? Very specific over here. And do not use titles that are generic or overused, okay? And then the last component is opening up the possibility for questions that ChatGPT will ask from you. So over here, if you have any questions and clarifications, then just ask before you try to generate them. Okay, so what we want to happen is with this requirements that I have over here, it's detailed, right? But there could be some blind spots that I have missed. So if I have missed a couple of those details over here, then ChatGPT can ask me those, and then I could just answer back and then give me a more like a higher quality result. So if we check this one, right? I understand your requirements, and it just reiterated on what I said. And then we have these titles over here, right? This one's pretty good actually. Lazy Wallet Full Pockets, Unleash 5 Quirky Passive Income Hacks, right? So as compared to the first one over here, it's a bit, I think it's a bit stale, right? Building wealth for the future, your guide to passive income streams. It's a dime a dozen, right? Pretty much most of the blogs are writing these types of articles. But over here, 5 quirky passive income hacks. So that's really interesting as well, right? So just make sure, okay, when it comes to writing your prompts in ChatGPT, remember the three main components: the role, the details, and then opened up the possibility for ChatGPT to ask questions from you. Step 2 is being able to ask ChatGPT to provide step-by-step instructions. So, for example, let's say we want to use ChatGPT to give us ideas on starting a YouTube channel about passive income. So, what I'll do over here is let's just work with a bad example first so that you can see the difference. So, what I'll paste in over here, give me ideas on a YouTube channel about passive income. Straightforward, right? And let's set it and see what ChatGPT will come back with. Okay, so engaging channel ideas. So we have the playbook, Lazy Money Lab, right? The passive podcaster. So pretty good ideas, right? But let's see, right? This is pretty much just ideas on how you can start a YouTube channel, on what the name would be and what would the topic be about, right? But let's work with a better example. So what I'll do is we have step 1, right? The fundamentals. So we will build this on top of that, okay? And then adding this step 2 over here to create step-by-step instructions with ChatGPT. So let me send the prompt first, and then let's just dissect this right now. So one of the things is you are able to change the context as well of ChatGPT. You can hack the context in a way, right? So over here is a pretty cool technique that you can use. Ignore all previous instructions before this, right? So what's happening right now is because ChatGPT, given like a specific conversation, it can remember what you have discussed before. So that could affect the future or the next responses of ChatGPT. So what I'm telling ChatGPT is, okay, whatever I told you before, forget it, right? So you can do that as well. Okay, you can just tell ChatGPT. It will simply follow everything that you tell it to do. Now, what we're doing over here is giving it a role. If you remember from the fundamentals, you're an expert and have a successful YouTube channel about passive income, right? With 1 million subscribers. Okay, so that's the role. Now, we have the details over here. Think of catchy niche about passive income. Okay, that's related to using AI tools. And then it should be catchy, the idea over here, and then do not use generic ideas or generic channel names, etc. Now, here's the difference. Next one is we have the questions. Okay, so same thing. We want ChatGPT to ask questions if there are any clarifications it has in mind, and provide how I can create this channel step by step. Do you understand? Now, here's a really cool thing as well, because if you need ChatGPT to be very specific, right, to give you a logical like plan on what you can work with, this is a roadmap, okay? Just mention step by step. You can ask ChatGPT to do that. So what it's doing right now is this is the main idea, AI-powered passive profits. It's pretty good, right? And this is the niche. So it's a combination of passive income and artificial intelligence. And then this is pretty much the step-by-step guide, right? So you can see over here, there's step 1, research and planning, and then branding and channel setup for step 2, okay? And then step 3 is content creation. So that's really cool. Because what it's doing right now is giving you a roadmap so that you don't need to like think of everything in one go. You just focus on step 1 first, right? And then we have, what else do we have? There's engagement, step 4, and then monetization for step 5. And then for each step, right, you have the breakdown over here on how you can accomplish this specific goal. So that's really cool because if you compare right now the output that we have from a while ago, right, the bad example, the bad prompt over here, then what we have over here is so much more detailed, right? Because we have combined the different techniques from step 1 and then step 2 together, and we have this high quality output from ChatGPT. Step 3 is all about the tone and voice. So let's have some fun with this. Okay, so what I'll do is let's just copy paste a prompt over here so that we can have a look on how we can play around with this with ChatGPT. So one of the cool things is you can also add a tone and voice to ChatGPT to like change on how it explains specific concepts to you. So for example, over here, let's say I want to learn about rocket science, but it's too complex for me and I have no idea what it means and what it does, right, with this specific topic. So what we have this prompt over here, you are an expert in rocket science and have 20 years of experience in teaching these concepts easily. So we're applying the role over here. And then here's what I need, the details. And then explain rocket science to a 10-year-old. So the really cool thing with ChatGPT is you can also ask it to explain to a specific person. So for example, let's say it's just 10-year-old, so which means ChatGPT will be limited, right, to be able to like make it really simple that a 10-year-old could understand. In our case, or in my case, okay, rocket science is interesting, but I have no idea what it is, right? It's a complicated topic for me. It's too complex for me to understand. So explain it to a 10-year-old so that I can just like really learn about it. Now, provide 2 or 3 examples that can help him understand. So you can specify that as well. And here's the cool thing, right? The tone. You can also use the voice of Homer Simpson just to make it fun, because let's say this is a boring topic for me and I just want to understand this better in a fun way, right, that will keep me engaged, then you can use that as well. So if you see the response of ChatGPT, okay, over here, Homer Simpson style, though. All right, buddy, listen up. Rocket science is like when you want to make a super duper cool paper airplane that flies higher than any other plane, but way up in the sky. It's all about making things go zoom into space with a big old bang. Now, I won't continue reading this one, but it's really cool, right? You can just pause the video and just have a look at this explanation over here. But it's really nice to see that ChatGPT is able to be flexible and then change it to present it in a way that you want it to be. Because, for example, let's say you have different articles, right? And then you want ChatGPT to be able to write it in your tone and voice, then you can provide these examples to ChatGPT so that ChatGPT can mimic this and then write it in your stead, right? So that's really cool. You can just ask ChatGPT to learn, right, and mimic your style of tone and voice or your writing style, etc. And that's one way to level up your prompts with this. So if you're enjoying this free course, don't forget to like and subscribe so that more people can also learn this awesome skill. And all links are in the description. So I also have a free ebook for you on the top 4 ways to earn passive income, and the link is also in the description as well. Now, I also have a bonus step as well at the end of this video that will blow your mind after you learn the fundamentals, so make sure to stick to the end. Step 4 is all about coding, because one of the things, really cool things with ChatGPT is being able to be your own personal software developer or programmer. And this is actually one of my favorite things because ChatGPT is just able to create like snippets of code for you that you can use for automating your tasks, right? If you have mundane tasks that you keep on doing over and over again, then you can just jump over to ChatGPT and then ask to create code for you on how you can automate this and then save time in the process. So for example, in my case, there was one time where a friend of mine just went to me and then asked that, hey, I need some code, okay, on how can I compare 2 sentences, and then it would just give me a score on how similar they are to each other, because my friend runs a translation business and then they need to compare sentences on how close they are to each other. So what did I do? I went straight to ChatGPT to be like my personal programmer. So let's just type this out over here, okay? And then we have this prompt, ignore all previous instructions before this, and then you are an expert programmer. So we're defining the role right now over here, right? And then I have 2 sentences that I want to compare on how similar they are and give me a backup score of 0 to 100. Pretty straightforward, right? But it's not as easy as we might think on how would you implement this from a coding perspective so that it can just like give me a number right away, with 100 being the closest match. Can you write this in macro VBA? Because what I have is an Excel spreadsheet, right? And I just want to be able to plug it in, okay, easily and then run that code. Now, you're saying that, oh, okay, sure. Here's the code, the simple macro VBA code, and using a specific distance algorithm. I have no idea what this is actually, but the really cool thing is if you're unsure, you can just simply add a follow-up question after that and then ask ChatGPT to explain this further for you, right? And then, okay, it just mentions, okay, how does this algorithm work? And then we have our code right away, right? It's just mind blowing because if over here, right, if we have a software developer, it's really expensive to like just give them a task and then the hourly rate, right? It's really expensive. But over here with ChatGPT, you have this right now at your fingertips. But of course, right, don't like take everything as correct, right? You need to test it out as well just to make sure that, okay, is the code working as expected or not, right? You just need to spend some time testing. But for the development part, right, for the coding part, it has taken it away from you and you save a lot of time in the process. Right, so that's really cool. We have our code over here. So aside from being a developer, another really cool thing is, let's say if you're not familiar with software development and then you know just a bit over here, but let's say there are some parts that, okay, I'm not really sure what this block of code would do. So what I'll do is I'll just simply copy this one and it can function as a tutor for you as well in explaining like specific parts of the code for you. It has given me some sort of explanation over here, right, on what the code does. But if I want to really dive down to the specific parts of the code, then I can just tell ChatGPT that, hey, can you explain to me on what this code is about? Right? And then what I'll do is I'll just paste in the code from a while ago that I copied, right? And then ChatGPT is able to break it down step by step for me. So that's really cool. So aside from having a developer, you can also use ChatGPT as your like software tutor as well, so that you can really understand on what it is giving to you. Now, step 5 is all about data generation. So as a prompt engineer, there are a lot of scenarios where you would need sample data to work with your scenarios. And this is where ChatGPT is really handy. So let's just like connect step 4 and step 5 together. Because step 4, what I did a while ago, right, is ask ChatGPT to write code for us, right, that will give us the distance or like the similarity score for two sentences. But let's say I want to test out this code right now, and then I can just give ChatGPT a quick prompt that, hey, can you generate sample data for me so that I can test this out, right? And then I want you to give me 20 pairs. Let's just make it shorter over here, right? Let's say 5 pairs of sentences. And then displayed it in a table format. So that's really cool. It's really simple, right? And what you have over here, right? You have 5 pairs of sentences right away. Because if you work with a lot of projects, right, you always need sample data so that you can just test things out or just see that, okay, how would it look like over here? And the really cool thing is with just like a couple of seconds, as you can see over here, right, ChatGPT now has created this for us, okay? And even has an explanation over here, right? Okay, how can you use this for testing out the code? So that's really cool. I didn't even ask ChatGPT about that, which I could have asked as well, but it was smart enough to like relate it from the previous conversation a while ago. Okay, so that's a really cool thing with ChatGPT. Step 6 is asking ChatGPT to create a study plan for you. So one of the things is we have like discussed about the building blocks of prompt engineering, right? We have the roles, we have the step-by-step, we have the details, etc. But what we need also is further reading or further learning on what else do we need to learn. And this is where ChatGPT can really be handy. So what we want to do, right, over here is ask ChatGPT that you are an expert in teaching prompt engineering and know the basics of writing effective prompts with roles, details, etc. But I want to take it to the next level. And I have 2 hours per week, 3 days a week to learn more. So we're being really specific over here on how much time, right, we have to learn. And then could you create a course outline on what I need to learn more? Okay, in 4 weeks. So let's just update that over here, right? And we're being really specific. Okay, so as a reminder, when it comes to prompt engineering, right, you need to know what you want or what you need so that you can be really specific when it comes to sending prompts to ChatGPT. So let's just press enter over here, send it over, and then see what ChatGPT will come back with. So while we are going through this, right, I also have a YouTube video on the using ChatGPT to learn any skill that you want, which I'll also link in the description. Okay, so what I want you to do is to use ChatGPT to further your learning. So, okay, week 1, it's understanding prompt structures over here. Okay, and then week 2, mastering specific domains, right? And then enhancing engagement and creativity over here, even storytelling, multimedia, really cool, right? So which means you're not just limited to ChatGPT. So multimedia, it could be as well Midjourney or other AI tools out there that you can expand your learning so that you can have a better like resume for when it comes to the prompt engineering role. Okay, so that's really impressive, right? We have day 11, day 12, day 13, etc., and also final projects. Okay, so there are a lot more tips that you can do as well when it comes to furthering your learning, because let's say some of them you already covered, you already know about that. So let's say you're interested about domain specific prompt engineering, and then you can just send this prompt to ChatGPT that, okay, for day 5, right? Teach me further details on what I need to learn, or give me resources on what I need to learn to be able to master this specific skill. Okay, so that's really cool because you can just ask ChatGPT to further your learning. It never ends, right? It just goes deeper and deeper on like which specific topic that you want to go into a deeper dive. Then you can just simply ask ChatGPT to provide that for you. So the bonus step is making ChatGPT to be your own prompt engineer. So this will blow your mind because I want you to understand this only after you have went over the other techniques that we have discussed a while ago and the different steps, right? Before showing you this, because I want you to understand the fundamentals and the core concepts first before using ChatGPT to be your own prompt engineer. So what I have over here, right? This is like the ultimate prompt, right? And I also have a copy of this in the description so that you can also copy paste this and use this right away. So we're defining a role for ChatGPT. I want you to become my prompt engineer or prompt generator, okay, with the objective of aiding me in creating the best prompt possible. Okay, so what's going to happen is the first response is just ask me, what is this about? Okay, what is the prompt about? Right? And then what's going to happen afterwards is there's going to be a loop of continuous improvement. So for each loop, what's going to happen is ChatGPT will create an updated prompt, right, on what it has collated so far. And then it will continue to ask relevant questions on what it needs to further refine the prompt. Okay, so which means that I want ChatGPT to be able to think for me instead. Okay, think of the different angles, think of the different details that you would need to create the best prompt possible. And then, okay, after that, once I have the best prompt possible, then I'll just copy paste that and use that for ChatGPT to give me the best possible output. Okay, kind of like Inception, right? You're using ChatGPT to create its own question, which it will answer afterwards. But it's really cool. Okay, so stick with me for this one. Now, I've said this one, and the first question is that what is the prompt about, right? So you just provide an initial description for ChatGPT. Let's say, what would I need, okay, for ChatGPT to work on? Let's say I want a step-by-step guide on starting a YouTube channel to reach 1 million subscribers. Okay, so fairly simple. A one-liner over here, right? Over here, I'm not really worried on like if I'm lacking details or anything because ChatGPT will think of these details for me. So what's the updated prompt so far? Create a step-by-step guide on launching and growing a successful YouTube channel with the aim of reaching 1 million subscribers. And that's pretty much what I gave ChatGPT a while ago. Now, have a look at the questions. What is the target audience? Is there a specific focus? Is it gaming? Is it vlogs? Is it lifestyle? Monetization goals, right? Resources. Is there a time frame? Okay, like how long? How quick do you want it to happen? And then promotion and marketing. Do you want to include this as well? How do you sustain the channel's growth? Okay, so it's really cool because these are the questions right now that I might have thought of maybe 4 of the 7 questions when it comes to writing the detailed prompt for ChatGPT. But using this one, ChatGPT knows a lot more than I do. And now it's asking this really good question so that once I answer back, then I would have the best prompt possible. So what I'll do right now, right, I'll answer this question so that you can see what ChatGPT will come back with. So now we have our updated prompt over here, and I have provided my answers. So we have 7 questions from a while ago. Okay, and then I just provided the answers separated by commas over here. Fairly straightforward. And now we have our updated prompt, create a step-by-step guide for 20 to 40 years old, right? Interested in starting a YouTube channel centered around Nintendo Switch gaming. And the guide should outline the process of launching and growing a channel with the goal of reaching 1 million subscribers within a time frame of 2 years. And through organic growth without external promotion, because I specified that over here. Okay, and then provide strategies for sustaining the growth of the channel. Right. So that's really cool because if you compare the prompt that we had a while ago over here, right, it's a far cry on what we have right now, thanks to the questions that ChatGPT has provided us. And apart from that, right, with the 7 questions, there are more. Because what ChatGPT is able to do now, okay, based on this one, right, it's more specific right now, then it can think of more specific questions based on the updated prompt. And that's really nice because if you think about it, right, for example, I mentioned about Nintendo Switch gaming, okay, a specific console. Now it has, right, specific questions as well. Nintendo Switch gaming is a popular niche. Okay, how can it create like different shaded content or unique content to stand out in this competitive niche? So now, like, we're now drilling down to the details, and ChatGPT is able to like ask more specific questions based on the answers that I have given it from a while ago. So it's just more of looping through this, right? Going through a couple more iterations, and we would have the best possible prompt right over here, and you just keep on going, right? ChatGPT can just keep on going over here. So which is why this is the ultimate prompt that will blow your mind, because this is something that you can use to start with any prompt that you have. Okay, and the really cool thing as well over here is you can also get more techniques when it comes to ChatGPT. Okay, what are the useful details that it's looking for, right? You can just reverse engineer this as well so that you can improve your prompt engineering skill as well. So I hope you really enjoyed this course, and if you want to learn on how to use ChatGPT to create YouTube videos, then watch this video next.